everyone. Sorry, for some reason, it would not let me get more than 15 minutes, so I had to log off and log back in. So let me go ahead and go back to my presentation. Sorry, everyone. Told you, I've done this so many times today because it just keeps messing up. All right, so we were talking about R versus K selected. So it is a spectrum. These guys fall more on the R selected side, okay? Meaning, right, some are definitely more R selected, like again, this oyster, even this fish are pretty R selected. Now, the frog, or toad, or whatever they're trying to say this is, it probably also has some R-selected tendencies, like 200 offspring a year. They're definitely not giving them a whole lot of parental care, but probably maybe a little bit more than the oyster, right? Whereas they're just, goodbye eggs, goodbye, right? But the frog is like, I'm going to at least make sure they get to maybe hatching. But we're talking about, again, very little parental care, lots of offspring. I mean, the oysters, I don't know when they start reproducing, and fish, but they're probably reproducing really early in their life. Versus the primate, which I'm going to go with a gorilla, maybe a chimp, the mountain lion, and even the rabbit. They're going to fall more on the K-selected side. Okay? Now, the primate's definitely going to be very K-selected. One offspring every 5 to 6 years. And as you can see, it says provides extensive parental care. So that means really taking care of that offspring, ensuring it survives to adulthood, versus maybe the mountain lion. Definitely not going to be able to give as much, but still a good amount of parental care. Okay, maybe starts reproducing a little bit earlier and matures a little quicker. But the rabbit definitely, I mean, it's on the K-selected side, but 12 offspring a year. It's definitely going to take care of its babies a little bit, but not as much as the primate. But still on the K-selected side. Okay, so it's a spectrum, right? We can't say, right? You're definitely, we can say definitely K versus R. Some of them fall in the middle. They're not as K-selected, but they're still K-selected species. And then last but not least is we can take this R versus K, and let me grab, you need this paper, so if you don't have this paper, pause and get this paper. This leads us to talking about survivorship. So these reproductive strategies lead to different, what we call survivorship curves, okay? So go ahead and take this out, because this is what you need right now. So there are 3 survivorship curves, type 1, type 2, and type 3. And I'll tell you, the way I set this up, type 1 is much easier, and type 3 to talk about. Type 2 kind of falls in the middle. I'm just going to go in this order, okay? So I would definitely write on this, use some color, add some notes to it. So let's start with type 1. So type 1 is known as late loss. And I'm just going to tell you, I don't want to, when I click on the writing thing, it doesn't work very well. Write down everything you see in the box. So for example, type 1, which is a convex curve, is known as late loss. What do we mean by that? Well, if you look at your graph, you look at the one on here, and I'll click on it once. Right, notice that we're looking at the percentage of maximum life expectancy. So how many organisms are alive? Well, take a look. We don't lose very many, right? We're starting at 100%, and we still have a lot of that 100%, right? All the way up until later in life when it drops off. That's why it's called late loss. So we have a really high survivorship through most of our life, and most of the organisms that are in this kind of survivorship curve, they've reached maturity. Majority. Now that doesn't mean that a type 1 organism can't die early in age. It's just, right, most of them make it to very late in life. This is very, very typical of a K-selected organism. So those K-selected organisms are going to tend to fall on type 1. So humans, we are type 1 survivorship. Elephants, other primates. Think about maybe lots of whales. Other mammals tend to fall here. Lots of them. Not all of them. Think like a lot of big organisms definitely here. Okay? So make sure to write this in for type 1. Let's go to type 2. Okay, and if you need to pause, go ahead and pause when you need to. Type 2 is a little different. Type 2 is a diagonal. And notice it just goes straight down the middle. This is a little different because it's called a constant loss. So instead of being late loss, and I'll tell you type 3 is early loss, type 2 is there's constant loss. You have, as you can see, independent of age, no matter how old the organism is, it has the same chance of surviving early in age versus middle in age versus later in life, right? It doesn't matter how old they are. Us as type 1, right, we have a high chance of surviving till we get to adulthood. High chance. Doesn't mean that we can't, but we have a high chance. If you're a type 2 organism, doesn't matter how old you are, right? You have the same chance of surviving at any age. This is really common in birds. Birds are like the biggest example. But other rodents, like for example, you have a picture of like a squirrel on your note sheet, right? They also would fall there. Hydras are types of aquatic organisms. Don't worry about that. But perennial plants would also fall here. So some plants as well fall here. So pause, make sure you understand and have it written down for type 2. And then type 3, which you notice is the concave, this is early loss, meaning that we have a low survivorship, early in life. And notice you can see that green line, right? We see a big drop-off right away. Okay, big drop-off right away. Why you'll notice it's pretty typical of our selected species. Why do you need to lay 500 million eggs? Because honestly, most of them aren't going to make it. Okay, they're not going to make it, unfortunately. We have a pretty high mortality early in life. Lots of organisms die. But as we get to later in life, after maturity, it's a pretty low mortality, right? So you can see it leveling off. And again, this is typical of like our selected, so think like oysters, a lot of really small fish, even some trees, right? Trees make a whole lot of seeds. Why do they produce so many seeds? Because it's unlikely that every single one of them, even most of them, are going to germinate. So we got to make a lot to ensure our species survive. This is a survival tactic. Okay? So make sure you know these 3 types of survivorship curves. Okay? Because that's definitely what we're going to be working on a little bit later this week. So, just to summarize, today we covered 7.2, so we talked about succession. Do you know the 2 types of succession? Primary versus secondary. What's the difference? Primary, bare rock, right? Volcanic eruptions, glacial retreats. That's it. Pause that. Versus secondary succession, well, we didn't start with bare rock. We actually started with some soil ready to go, which is why it's a quicker process. And then know the 3 stages. Primary, the first stage with the pioneer species, the species that come in, that's the lichen and the moss. You can tell it's getting late. I'm getting tired. Then the mid-successional, right, after we've gotten some soil, shallow soil there, and then the climax community, the late successional. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to know. Then you need to know a little bit about ecological tolerance, because that is a topic on the exam. So just know the basics. Organisms can't survive in every single condition, right? They have a range of tolerance. Think like Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold. They all have their range. Maybe it is on the colder side. They can't tolerate heat. Maybe it's on the warmer side and they can't tolerate cold. But they all have a range of tolerance, okay? Carrying capacity, so there is a certain number of organisms an ecosystem can support. That's the carrying capacity. We have too many, we're going to overshoot and it's going to die off. It will eventually level back out again, okay? And then R versus K, know the difference between R selected versus K selected, and then these 3 survivorship curves. Okay, so for the rest of the period, make sure that yellow paper is done. If you were absent, then you need to do the makeup version. No, you can't just copy the answers from someone else. I am going to leave copies of the makeup version for you. So if you were absent yesterday and did not play the game, you need to do the online version. Okay. And then don't forget the Mount St. Helens questions on the back. The article is posted on Schoology. All right, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for being good. Have a good one. See you later.